Hosted by The Solution Ryan Grayson, XCW Proudly Presents the Hall of Fame Induction Ceremony 2015.
Tonight, we're honoring a couple of Hall of Fame inductees. It's been 10 years in the making. First inducted at the 2005 VCAs. Tonight, we are honoring none other than Chris Jones and Fletch. Fletch, the man that started it all with XCW, pretty much gave everybody here our shot in the company. Good times, bad times. Whether the guy's having a good day, bad day, respect him. You gotta think the guy to some extent. And as for Chris Jones, that crazy motherfucker threw me over a balcony, forced me into DBW. What can I say? He's a fucking mastermind. But there's no denying that guy's skill in the ring. So, tonight, we're going to start off with somebody to speak on both of the inductees. None other than diehard Corey Lee.
Okay, you're not shit over. What to say here? Well, first, this cookies and cream is really good. But anyways, I'd like to talk about Chris Jones first. Chris Jones, what can I say? We've had a heck of a feud before. I was, regardless if there's interference, I beat him in his first TLC match and he's lost. Interference is allowed. I still won. I took out EBW. I mean, don't get me wrong, Genocide was there. Doesn't matter. I still got the final pin. What? It was. You got a fucking problem? I'll fucking flip this table, motherfucker. But there's no denying that Chris Jones is good in the ring. He's a heck of a wrestler. Good on the mic. You know, he's got the qualities of a great wrestler, period. I mean, he puts on a good show every time we're in the ring. No matter who he's with, puts on a heck of a match. But anyways, we're here to induct him and Fletch into the Hall of Fame officially. fully, their own shindig. But I'd like to take a few minutes so you guys can watch a video package representing Chris Jones.
Just want the credit where it's due. I'ma worry about me, give a fuck about you, nigga. Just as a reminder to myself, I wear every single chain, even when I'm in the house. Cause we started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team fucking here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here, nigga. No new niggas, nigga, we don't feel that. Fuck a fake friend, where your real friends at? We don't like to do too much explaining. Story stay the same, I never changed it. No new niggas, nigga, we don't feel that. Fuck a fake friend, where your real friends at? We don't like to do too much explaining. Story stay the same through the money and the fame. Cause we started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team fucking here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here, nigga. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here, nigga. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here, nigga. Started.
Zombie on the track.
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team fucking here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here, nigga. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here, nigga. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team fucking here. I done kept it real from the jump. Living at my mama's house, we'd argue every month, nigga. I was trying to get it on my own. Working all night, traffic on the way home, and my uncle calling me like, where you at? I gave you the keys, told you bring it right back, nigga. I just think it's funny how it goes. Now I'm on the road, $500,000 for a show, and we just want the credit where it's due. I'ma worry about me, give a fuck about you, nigga. Just as a reminder to myself, I wear every single chain, even when I'm in the house. Cause we started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team fucking here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Very insightful video there, Chris Jones and his career. Next up we have Fletch. I've had some good matches with Fletch as well. We've had an intense feud. Him and Chris Jones have both pushed me to the limit. I beat them, they beat me, it doesn't matter. World goes round. So never forget the time me and Fletch had a match, and I'm the one who fucked up a leapfrog. It's all my fault.
Who could forget?
Yeah, who could forget? It's all my fault. Okay, doesn't matter. It's past. We've had some pretty rough matches in the past, but who's to say that he hasn't had rough matches with Chris Jones, Hazard, Genocide, all the big names. We're here to officially induct him as well. Are you talking shit?
About him?
I forgot he was here.
How could you not hear his breathing?
I tried to tune him out. Continue. Okay. But anyways, we got a video package for Fletch as well that we are going to show, and as soon as that's finished, your host will be back so we can start inducting them.
is the exception to the rule. Every one of us is expendable. One push is all you'll need. A fist first philosophy. We watch with wounded eyes. So I hope you recognize I'm on the front line. Don't worry, I'll be fine. The story is just beginning. I say goodbye to my weakness, sorrow to the regret, and now I know that I'm alive. I'm on the front line. Don't worry, I'll be fine. The story is just beginning. I say goodbye to my weakness, sorrow to the regret, and now I see the world through diamond eyes. Every night of my life, I watch angels fall from the sky.
Welcome back. Well, first order of business for tonight. Let's get on to the inductees, shall we? But first, your XCW champion Hazard to say a few words about Chris Jones.
Welcome to my world, bitch.
What can I say about Chris Jones that nobody here doesn't know? He's cocky, an asshole. But those are all qualities that make Chris Jones. Chris Jones. Now, as some of you may not know, now there's some people that do know, but I'm technically the one that got Chris Jones his start in wrestling. It was back in good old SBW, HCW days. It was me, Tsunami, and JJ, all sitting there wrestling at Looper School. This guy comes up and he says, I want to wrestle. No, I don't want you to wrestle with me. Next show comes around. Here comes this kid again. I want to wrestle with you. No, dude. I don't want you to wrestle with me. So, he keeps going. We're over just, we were really young, so, we're playing at a park. So, he comes up again, he goes, I really, really want to wrestle with you. I said, all right. What's your name? Chris Jones. My name is Chris. I said, all right, you want to learn how to wrestle? Let me powerbomb you on that concrete. Thinking, he ain't going to do that. He ain't going to take no powerbomb on concrete. He took a powerbomb on concrete, and lo and behold, Joker is born. We have his battle royal over at Loper. Chris, being Chris, was like, he's telling me all these ideas, and I'm like, you know what? We're going to draw out of a hat. You're going to get your number, and if it pops up with a W, you're going to win. Chris draws out the winning number. He goes, all right, I got the winning one. Okay. But first, I got to go eat some Blimpies first. My uncle's coming to get me. We're going to go to Blimpies. I'll be back, though. Don't worry. I swear. Okay. So, we're in the middle of this battle royal.
Blimpies.
Joker shows up. And jumps in his battle royal. And I believe it's down to what? Me and Kekai and JJ probably. Last final three. And then Joker shows up. I eliminate Tsunami and JJ. And it's left with myself and Joker. Well, I didn't like this kid, so I threw him out. He was supposed to win. There was maybe another guy. But it's besides the point. Which, in turn, kind of started a feud with myself and Joker. Later on, I ended up ripping off this mask, and Y2J, Chris Jones, is born. And it goes into saying that, you know, I've said it once before, I'll say it again, I created a virus, I can kill the virus. And it didn't work either. He's still around. But what else can you say about Chris Jones? I mean, the guy helped build XCW from the ground up, whether it be him wrestling Cynical, Corey Lee, myself, Fletch, Genocide. He's always been the one to bring out probably the best that you can ever get out of yourself. And in the meantime, of him being in XCW, he runs a side company that's kind of a sister brand to XCW and EBW. As we all know, EBW in turn came back and invaded XCW. Chris Jones being the leader of it all, I give him props. He went out on top of EBW, being the last EBW champion. Granted, he wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be Austin Chaos. But let me tell you something about Chris. He's always been the one to say, let's try something. And when I came up with the idea of doing a death match, Chris was on board. Funny thing about deathmatch, one is not many people know, except for maybe the people that were there, or just Fletch and himself. Me and Chris, before our deathmatch, set up in that clubhouse for probably a good half hour to an hour thinking of this match, not speaking a word to each other. And I love how all you sons of bitches are on your phone and not paying a bit of attention.
I'm
But-
listening. I'm listening.
Me and Chris sat up there in that clubhouse praying that we were not going to die while everyone else was down there having a fuck fest on the mattresses. And that's something else that me and Chris Jones were born into. We never started out wrestling on mattresses. Me and Chris came at a time where you didn't wrestle on mattresses, you wrestled on straight ground. And that's definitely something right there to say for somebody who has been in the business this long as Chris and has taken that kind of punishment from being straight ground, being in death matches. What can you say? That's Chris Jones. And then there's the infamous Extreme King, where me and Fletch had our falling out at this time, but we had a big, huge battle royal planned, and Chris is in the back, sitting there, just bullshitting, and Azrael the Demon Knight de-pantsed him. Or the times that Dylan Bostic and Dark Slayer would stay at your house the night before shows, and you guys made the epic entrance. That still, to this day, is probably one of my favorite entrances. See what else is there. Here's one, of us being out and about, hanging out in the town. There was the time that we were all hanging out at what was it, Napa Auto Parts. And there was so much stuff. There's the time we talked Tommy into taking an FU in the back of my truck. Oh, man. Then there's many other stories that I'm sure that you could touch base on. I don't want to take up too much Chris Jones' time. Without Chris Jones, who would say, what would XCW be? Chris Jones and the cynical feud is what really put XCW on the map. Without Chris Jones, I don't think there might have been an XCW for this long. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the first inductee of the night, C-Unit, Chris Jones, Brother Jones, Fuckhead Jones, Joker, Y2J Jones.
A session in the club, give me rose. When your mom ready, said go, okay. Get to the back of the bottle, make it bang. Everybody back of the bottle, make it bang.
10 years in the making. Fletch, Chris Jones, inducted 2005, XCW Hall of Fame. But it didn't start there. It all started probably when I was about 3. I, personally, was not obsessed with Hulk Hogan. I wasn't obsessed with, Killer Kowalski, any of those old pieces of shit. But there was one guy I was obsessed with. The Ultimate Warrior. I had the little danglies on the elbows, the Ultimate Warrior underwear.
I can picture him on the sheets.
Do you still have those underwear?
No.
Okay.
It's too shocked he don't.
Probably worth a lot of money.
I never found out for sure, but some might have said I was born into watching wrestling, but when I was 3, I believe I was at my grandma's house, visiting my mom for a weekend, run around the house, Ultimate Warrior underwear, little danglies on the arms, and I proceeded to climb up on the corner of the couch. I don't think Ultimate Warrior did an elbow. This Ultimate Warrior did. And, well, you see, old people tend to be brittle. And I jumped off the couch, delivered an elbow to my grandma. Broke her collarbone, but... Then after that, probably the next memory of wrestling I have is probably watching WCW way back in the day, before I met Roddy. And I always liked the underdogs in wrestling. It was never just straight up, Hulk Hogan, never, Macho Man Randy Savage. I would like, Chris Jericho before WWE. I would like, Rey Mysterio. But when we get to when the wrestling roots began, like Roddy said, I seen these people wrestling at Loper School. I had a big thing for wrestling. I had just started living with my mom at the time. And every weekend, I'd see these people there wrestling. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? I like wrestling. So I walk over there, I watch him for a few minutes. See this big guy. He's always been a big guy. I'm like, hey, I want to wrestle. And he's, just like he said, he's like, no. So I'm like, okay, I didn't think anything about it. Went about my day, I'm big into sports, basketball. I played a lot of basketball at Loper. Next weekend rolls around. Same thing. I see these people, a couple more people the last time. Originally, it was just 3 or 4 people. I see a couple more people this time. Like, it's fine. I want to wrestle. So I walk over again. He's like, no, I really don't want you to wrestle. So I'm like, okay. I was starting to get irritated by this time. Because a personal mentality of the Chris Jones character, I always think I'm better than everybody else. And why can't I wrestle with them? I want to be better than them. So the next weekend rolls around. I was not leaving with a no today. I walk up. He tells me no. So I give him about 5-10 minutes, and it was towards the end of their show, I guess. And they finished the show, and I walk back up to him. I'm like, on wrestle. He's like, fine. Take a power bomb on concrete, and you can wrestle. And this dumb bastard didn't know I would take it. I took it, regretted it for, the half hour that I didn't move. And then I get up, and he's like, okay, man, we wrestle next week. And by this time, the next week rolls around. It's not just Hazard. It's not Tsunami. It's not just JJ. But this time, it's Hazard. It's Tsunami. It's JJ. Kurt Acid was at this show. Suicide. Anthony and Donnie Tharp were there. And Homicide, Justin Parsley. And then just like as he explained, Joker was born. I wasn't Chris Jones. I was born into a mask, whereas most of our wrestlers, they come in without a mask. And I did my thing. I won my very first match in 7 seconds. 7 seconds, I came out, delivered the wild card, beat Suicide, Hardcore Championship. But a story Hazard Roddy failed to enlighten you guys on was after that Battle Royal, he ended up losing his championship. He went on, won the championship, and lost it. And then attacked me. He failed to mention that Joker and Hazard were friends. He attacked me, beat me for the hardcore title because it was 24/7, and then demasked me. And then Y2J was Chris Jones was born. Then the virus was inserted. I went on from there to have matches with the likes of Kurt Acid. The only time ever that I know of is a double ladder match for 2 titles, where I won my first major championship. To me, was the light heavyweight title, and the hardcore title was on the line as well. Kurt Acid winning the hardcore title, me winning light heavyweight, because there ain't no way he's gonna be a light heavyweight champion.
I'm scared of that.
No, you weren't.
The highlights and the heights of what we did back then was we thought a frog splash off the monkey bars was cool. Look what we do today. Look how far wrestling has come from a frog splash off monkey bars, being set on fire, barbed wire, thumbtacks. But after that, there was kind of a falling out. HPW, SPW, whatever. NAW and BYW was born. Now the thing was, I had a benefit about myself. I had a few extra cards in my pocket as I owned a championship. I was the only one that owned a real championship back then. Granted, it was a kid-sized Intercontinental title, so, I was going high. They did a big draft. I was drafted first to BYWE. Unfortunately, I didn't want to go to BYWE. I wanted to stay with the crew that I knew, Hazard, Tsunami, and all of them. Then I was drafted to BYWE along with Genocide, the Fletch. And another thing is, I never got a shot in HCW. I never won a world title. Light heavyweight and hardcore championship was the only thing I ever got to win. And I did manage to build up some bad blood with, I don't remember his wrestling name, Cody Russell.
Chaos.
Built up some pretty bad blood with Chaos because, he had his girlfriend. She was kind of hot. But to BYW we go, where it was park to park. Nothing was ever set. Granted, all I wanted to do was wrestle. I wanted to be a professional wrestler. That was my dream for the longest time, was to be a professional wrestler. So we go park to park, packing in vans, getting grounded, sneaking out windows, parking down the street so I could, sneak away from my mom's house because I was grounded. And it gets to where storylines didn't really matter. There were some decent matches. Probably the highlight was I held the Intercontinental title for over a year. Come on, Justin Parsley, give me a world title shot, man. You had the equivalent of Dynamite DTC, I'm not sure what his name was back then, getting thrown through a bathroom door. The Fletch getting fired twice in the same show. 3 times. And my first wrestling injury came, it was a match 1-on-1 with Homicide, Justin Parsley. I went for my first ever, moonsault. It was a lion saw. And he threw a chair, hit him in the elbow, kind of fucked my elbow up, but never once thought about quitting wrestling. So BYW goes into the ground, kind of. We didn't really have a spot to wrestle. We done been in every park in Shelbyville, wrecked a couple times, almost died.
Yep.
And then, so I'm sitting at home, not wrestling, not what I wanted to do. Finally, after not being in contact with Fletch for a few years and not talking to Hazard, I'm sitting out on my roof when I lived on Elm Street, throwing water balloons at these 2 specific people that ride mountain bicycles every day. Brent and Michelle Logsdon. Brent's married to my ex-girlfriend. Fuck you. I hate your guts. So I'm throwing water balloons at these people, and I see this guy waddling around.
I was skinnier.
He was skinny. He was still fat.
Son of a bitch.
You were fat. He's just fat and had a neck.
He's like, hey, Chris. Oh, hey. I didn't remember his name. What do you want? Come down and talk for a minute. So I go downstairs. We talk to Kurt Aston. He's like, you remember Josh Fletcher? No, because I didn't know anybody. But outside the wrestling names, I didn't know it. I didn't remember his name was Fletch. He's like, well, I got this guy that wants you to wrestle. You're going to talk to him at school. So one day after school, I go out and I talk to him. I was like, man, we're gonna do this wrestling show. We got tickets and stuff sold, and we're gonna wrestle at this one spot. So we go to wrestle at this one spot, and it was trash. It was fucking filthy, and we walked around town all day trying to figure out what we're gonna wrestle at. You know, I'm like,
Bird Challenge, what he said.
like, it's starting to seem kind of like the BYW situation at first. And it's me, Josh Fletcher, Benji, everybody else back then. I don't even know who all was with us. But
Dylan Smiley.
a bird shit on, Daniel Smiley's head. That's how we call him, Shitley, Shittles.
Not Vapor.
Not Vapor. So we come across the little pimp's house, Johnny Phillips, and we end up wrestling there. And the highlight of the show, besides, I'll get to the end of the Power Title Battle, but the highlight of the show was I'm off on one side of the yard, Fletch is off on the other, and the flipping clothesline is born. And you have Convict in the background. Oh, that was cool. Just a flipping clothesline, man. And then the fight comes down. It's Chris Jones and Cynical, and just look what became of Chris Jones and Cynical. We weren't enemies at first, the handshake in the match. And look what was born. You have Chris Jones and Cynical feud. XCW debut, April 16, 2004. Virus inserted once again. Then me and Cynical start wrestling. I wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't a bad guy. We weren't even technically good guys yet, in my opinion. We were tweeners. No one knew what was going to become of us, and we wrestled. Trampoline show, May 7th, 2004. Pretty decent match. And we go on. We end up having the Epic Rain Show match, where kind of inserted me as a heel. I started the shit talking with Fletch on the side. So not only am I now kind of feuding Cynical, I'm feuding Fletch. So I'm already down 2-1. 2 guys against me on the roster. Then, I think the first big win of my career was probably the Power title. Second big win, not very long after that, May 21st, 2004. I wrestled the World Heavyweight Champion, I believe. Genocide. Kurt Acid back then. And I beat Kurt Acid 1-1. Never did get a world title shot against Kurt Acid, but I did beat him. That's in the record books. Whether he was stealing, my super kick, the twist of fate, the FU, all those other moves he did in the match, I didn't lose. You were the loser of the match before the match was over when I stuck that 4-week-old sock down your throat.
Oh, shit.
And then the match was over, and then we moved spots. Mobile Home Villa, my personal favorite. I missed the first show. Because I got grounded for burping in a car, which is really fucking stupid. So missed the first show. I'm Power Champion, missed the first big show. They had our first fireworks segment, wasn't there. Then the next show, I wrestled Sidecore. Pretty, I would say that'd be the first really hardcore match that I know of. You got the big stop, bam, unconscious Chris Jones, stop sign. But then you have a piece of wood hitting Sidecore in the face for, throwing a snowman at my face. So fuck you. Lose the belt. But that's, I think, was probably a good thing for my career. Because if I would have stayed the Power Champion, I wouldn't have escalated. I think I would have just stayed kind of around the mid-card area. But I lost the belt. And what happens when Chris Jones loses the belt? The wheels start turning. I want to be better. I want more. I want gold. Right about this time, VK2 and MPG was getting heated. VK2, 3 people. MPG, 2 people. So, what do? Insert myself into the bigger picture. Get thrown into a storyline with MPG and VK2. I wasn't supposed to be the leader of MPG. That was never once the plan. It was supposed to be Blade was the leader of MPG. I was supposed to be just the crony, the lackey. That didn't stay very long. I went Extreme King, 2004. Last entrant eliminating none other than Hazard. Go on to TLC. First ever TLC match. Dynamite DTC. VK2 MPG. Not only was the cynical Chris Jones a heated feud, but now you got MPG, VK2 rising to new heights. 101 DTC. We put on a show. Even with a broken ladder, I still climbed to the top of that ladder. Got the belt. MPG comes out. Celebrates. That was the moment, I think, that pushed me above Vapor. Pushed me above Blade. By this time, all of it's going to my head. Like, I'm with this new company. They already made me world champion. I'm better than Blade. I'm better than that fat fuck. I'm world champion. So I kind of took over MPG, became the leader of MPG, which added to more storylines down the road. And started to build a whole bunch of heat. And not just storyline heat. There's a lot of major backstage heat with me.
Really?
Because, I'm in the mindset, I'm a wrestling fan. I'm playing myself 24/7 to the fullest.
Still does.
And there was a time to when I was kind of pulled off the side by Ryan Hogarth and Fletch, and we discussed everything that's going on, a couple future storylines and stuff, and they just told me I kind of needed to cool off a bit, otherwise, it'd probably be removed after a while from XCW, but cool down a little bit, built some friendships from it, and end up losing the world title to Cynical, and probably the absolute worst match of my entire wrestling career, SummerMania 2. Trunk match, there's a couple moments, but it was fucking horrible. He came there after getting off work. He was in a bad mood. Didn't want to work with each other. It was just a fucking terrible day. And that wasn't even the worst of it. Probably the best match of the whole show, in my opinion, was Eternal Darkness winning. What's that fucking tell you?
Thanks. Ed, Cyclor, and Hazard.
But, the Cynical Chris Jones feud takes off even more. I just lose the world title to Cynical. I am pissed. We go on to have matches. Halloween Havoc, the epic flaming table. Cynical was loved by everybody. I mean, it still echoes in my mind. The fans chant, Cynical, Cynical. I don't want to hear that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So, start this Halloween Havoc match, our first night show. It didn't start off very well. We had some new people wrestling new people. It didn't have very good matches. But you get to the main attraction of the night. The Cynical, the Chris Jones, what the people came to see. World title match. And we proceeded for the first flaming table. 2 minor injuries succumbed because of the match. The epic, take the can off the table because I left it on there. I don't know what was going through my mind, but I don't know if I just wanted to see him burn or something. Because I wasn't going to take the can off. I was just focused. Now, I was screaming random gibberish or something. I don't even think you can decipher what the fucking actual rest of what I say in the show.
You can't.
But I suplex him through the flaming table. He catches on fire. I see him rolling around the ground. He's not getting on fire. Stop, drop, and roll. It's not working. So, my mindset as a wrestler, I'm thinking, well, he's probably going to burn, so I should probably help him. So I make it look like kind of like I'm pissed off. I rip his fucking shirt off and start beating his ass. Give him a second to roll around. And then the Irish whip under the porch. Someone is not supposed to fold like this, going backwards. We were supposed to go do another show after that. That didn't turn out very well either. Me and Cynical, after he got back, were getting stitches in his finger for cutting it on the roof. We set the house. It's not even our fucking house. It's Josh's house, and we're sitting there. I wonder what everybody's doing. We come back, everybody's fucking soaked and drenched. Like, what the fuck happened to you guys? Fucking dumb motherfuckers threw Fago at us. Well, why do you expect the fucking dumbass Juggalo party? I'm kind of glad we didn't go.
Hey, we were getting booked to wrestle there. That's what we did.
Oh, something I forgot to mention earlier, I mentioned, they were selling tickets and stuff to the show. That kind of fell through. We ain't sold tickets since. But, Halloween Havoc passes.
It's kind of not legal.
And, I can't say I necessarily kind of died off. I mean, I lost the belt to Cynical, and Cynical moved on. So, there I am. Not really any storyline besides the MPG VK2 thing, and, I'm all for, the easy job, get it done any way possible, If they're going to do my work for me and I win, I'm completely fine with that. A win's a fucking win. That's the way the perfect heel thinks. You do what you got to do to win the match. So I don't have a belt. I'm left with Vapor and Blade. I feel like I'm being held down. And what I do, I see the perfect opportunity. Zero doesn't have a tag team partner. There's a tag team title open. Why not insert myself and get a free championship? So what I do, I pitched the idea to Josh, in the storyline, Biohazard's not here anymore. Let me be Zero's partner. Let Zero join MPG. So, that kind of brought the future of Shelbyville Heat. So, me and Zero tag team champions, we're still feuding back and forth MPG, and we leave Mobile Home Villa. We go to that piece of shit house right next to Family Dollar. We were supposed to wrestle at my Elm Street house. That fell through, the story about me, we had a fucking hole in the bottom of my front door. We had glass windows in the bottom door, and there's one hole that one person could fit through. Thank God for DTC. We got locked out. We left our wrestling stuff in our house, my house, and we got locked out. So DTC crosses that little fucking hole, opens the front door. Then we get to the bedroom door. The bedroom door is fucking locked. And I tried to shoulder it, we tried to kick it, it doesn't open. So what do? I put my ass through the door. Not my side, not my shoulder. I jump and fucking Rikishi myself to that fucking bedroom door. Put DTC in, we get our stuff, we go to that new place. And then, I think the big match of the night was the tag team match with myself and Zero versus Fletch and DTC. And I leave the match. Boy, was I in fucking trouble. I grounded some serious stuff right there. So Vapor comes in, finishes the matches. I don't remember if we lost or won. I think we lost.
I think you won. I
don't remember. But we go there. We didn't wrestle there very long at all. But
thank God.
This isn't about storylines. Another person was born there. LOL. I mean, obviously, I'm LOL. So, I'd wanted to pick up two characters for a long time. Fletch was Nightmare and Fletch, and Devil was also born there, Hazard and Devil. Everybody's getting two fucking characters. I want two fucking characters. I love to fucking wrestle. Let me have two fucking matches. So I gave him the idea for LOL, and I spent $145 on my first outfit. Grim Reaper still wears those LOL pants today. But, LOL debuts in the first ever Cruiserweight Open. Big thing. Like 8, 9 Cruiserweights. Grim Reaper ends up winning.
Hazard.
The fuck is up with that? And LOL goes on a big Mass Character Hall of Fame. And, well, after that spot, we moved. Where's the next spot at?
Your dad's.
My dad's. So, my mom's.
Well, your mom and dad, yeah.
Yeah, 2005 was the start of something special. New spot. I mean, we had the nice fucking stage. We had the little chairs, little rope blocking the audience. Nice garage entrance.
Tons of
big
pussy.
Yeah, we were getting some pussy back then.
No, we weren't.
You're right. So we started doing our shows there. It was a pretty big show. The Oakster Civic Center.
Yes.
First big match. I would probably say the Triple Threat Tag Team match. In my opinion, would be the first big match. Zero gone, Zero in house arrest. Poor Zero. Fletch and Cynical, VK2, the Virtual Killers. Hazard, Lil Pimp, Blackout Inc. And me. What the fuck am I gonna do? And at this time, I had already turned on Vapor. Me and Zero attacked Vapor, turned on him, because Vapor had that gold. You know, if you watch the promo where Vapor comes out, me and Zero, my eyes on the prize the whole time, staring at nothing but that gold. Beat the fucking shit out of Vapor.
Zero even tripped over a chair.
But my favorite part about that fucking spot, not beating the shit out of Vapor, not the tag team match, not the funny story when I put my ass to the door, the chair shot to Disciple. It also featured the turn of DTC on the Virtual Killers, leaving just Fletch and Cynical. That tag team match featured another big thing.
He turned on Cynical.
Fletch turning on Cynical. After the match was over, Chris Jones winning the whole match by himself, you know. We took people to the candy shop. We broke some fucking ladders. Chris Jones walking out on top. Fletch turning on his longtime friend Cynical, throwing sand in his face, giving the suicide effect, birthing, you know, I will come out there and slap every single one of you. My favorite Fletch moment. Besides playing air guitar to Grandma's house and slipping and falling on his ass. The camera didn't see it. Yeah, it caught it, motherfucker. So, Fletch turned on Cynical, and then you see another big thing.
This is edited out of the DVD version, just there.
Chris Jones joining up with Hazard and Cynical? What the fuck? To stop Fletch, you know.
Anti-Fletch group.
The whole time, you know, still got that gold in my mind, so I'm teaming up with, you know, Hazard. Hazard is bigger than Fletch. We ended up, you know, the Fletch Hazard thing outside personal issues over Little Wicked K. Which almost birthed another wrestling rivalry, you know. XCW said to have been feuding, you know, the BOWs, BBWs. NAW was almost reborn again from that feud. You didn't mention that. Nothing came of it. Hazard came back and he slapped the holy fucking piss out of Fletch. At that time, you know, you have LOL winning his first championship. You got the Nightmare Devil thing going on. Boiler Room Brawls.
DJ Twist.
DJ Twist.
What? Seriously?
You know you're a big motherfucker, right? And then, I'm still thinking about Vapor in the back of my mind. Vapor's got that world title. Hazard comes back, DTC wins Extreme King. Hazard comes back, pulls up Chris Jones with, what's he do? Inserts himself into the world title somehow by beating DTC for his Extreme King title. All the while, I have the big table match with Vapor that took fucking, I don't know, like maybe 65 table shots to break the fucking motherfucker.
33 minutes and 42 seconds.
It was fucking terrible. And the whole time, if you watch the pre-fucking match promos, the one thing I said I was going to do to Vapor, I never did the whole fucking match. You know, I could have frogged him. He might have went through the fucking table on the first try. But I never once frog splashed him through the table. Instead, I FU'd him. Thanks, Hazard. You know, you have the deep pantsing, another story. We stayed all night at Fletch's house one night, and me, DJ Twist, DTC, Cynical, all decided we're not going to go to fucking sleep. Fletch crashing his fucking, he's snoring. We go to Kroger, which led to bumper go-karts with, you know, the go-karts. And then as we're leaving, you know, they chase us out, you know, they go back inside, and Cynical, Ryan Hallgrass like, let's tip over all these fucking carts. This big long fucking row of carts. All five of us fucking tip those carts over, they take off running, you know, call the police. There's also the story of, you know, us messing with that old guy's car that lived right across the circle from you guys on the fucking trailer park, you know, the one you didn't like. And Sidecore elbowed his car and dented it. And we hid in your bedroom with the lights off, and the cops are coming by, shining fucking lights in everywhere, trying to find us. And there's what wrestlers do in their free time, you know. People run by in their fucking boxers, you know. Maggie Tongue Gates, pointy titties.
Pointers.
So much fucking amazing shit. Fire! Fire! Get up to the fire! Fuck! Scaring shit out of Benji. You can't turn on the fucking smoke alarms. You know, Dylan answering the phone with his ass.
Oh my god.
Me locking Colton in the shed, Zero taking the blame for it.
Hazard almost hit Colton with the car.
Yeah, Hazard hit. Yeah, that did happen. And then, you know, we started hanging out in parking lots and stuff all the while, you know, the Napa story. I ended up making out with Hazard's cousin at Walmart. not one of the better moments of my life.
Man, his dad did.
Then like 5 years later, my dad made out with her. Then I go to Burger King, taking a piss with a little pimp next to me, you know, our dicks are out, and she comes in the bathroom and tries to rape me. Not a better moment of my life either. For me. So I win the world title from Vapor, we go on to Big Show, Greed. Probably the crowning event in the Chris Jones career. You have the Greed where I beat DTC for the world title. We go on. Hazard's back, Extreme King champion. The me and Hazard, you know, going back and forth. Me and Hazard are both good guys. This feud kind of turning us both into heels. You know, I steal Hazard line in our fucking promo. Hazard steals a Chris Jones line in our promo. The death match is crowned. It'll be Hazard and Chris Jones in the first death match. Now, when we went into this death match, we know what to expect. We obviously didn't expect it to be as the death matches are today. But we wanted to do something that wasn't done before. We wanted to do something really hardcore and extreme. So we're in the shed, praying for our lives, because Lord knows I might have decided to do something fucking stupid, jump off the fucking roof of the clubhouse. I don't fucking know. Whatever kind of flows, we just do. Because by this time in my career, when I wrestle Fletch, there's not really any words in our match. I'm wrestling Hazard, there's not really any words in our match. The few times I wrestled Genocide, we developed a connection where there's no words in our match. By this time, you know, there was nobody else I trusted more than Fletch, Hazard, Genocide, or Cynical. And we worked so well together, we didn't have to talk. And there was not one word spoken the entire match between myself or Hazard. Not one word. Led to some pretty epic and funny moments. The start of the match, I break my arm.
CD cases.
Sounded really fucking gross.
CD cases.
I was getting to the CD cases, you know. I was supposed to bring out the fucking shopping cart. You were supposed to bring out the trash can.
You brought out the trash can, asshole, so I brought out the shopping cart.
We stole that shopping. I mean, we borrowed that shopping cart.
Good old little pimp.
It led to some other moments, like I climb up on top of the ladder. And what happens? I'm climbing. Not thinking anything about it, I'm going to jump off on a Hazard. No, I'm not. I'm going to fall off the ladder and rack myself. Then the DDT on CD cases. You have the lid shot bouncing off someone's head. I believe I hit Hazard, and Fletch catches it. You have the second flaming table, which we weren't prepared that time either.
At least we didn't leave a can on it.
Yes, we improved. There was no can left on the table. Hazard F-used me through the flaming table, you know.
Table goes out, Chris stays on fire.
I stay on fire, I take off running, because stop, dropping, and fucking rolling didn't work, so I'm like, maybe I'll fucking run and the arrow put it out. Nah. Then, fucking Sidecore ruins the whole camera shot. Next thing you see is me take off my clothes. But just like Nelly said, it was getting hot in here. I took off my fucking pants, you got Dylan Bostic on the side, dump a Mountain Dew on it, trying to get the fire out. We finished the match, first death match over. One for the books, Hazard goes on. I believe he set a record at that time, his first ever XCW championship title. Then after that, kind of fell off, I had nowhere to go. Don't remember exactly how it worked out, but I believe the next feud I had was with Fletch. And the international title. So I go on, I wrestle Fletch for the international title, and injury number 2 of the career. At this time, LOL was getting really big.
Injury number 2 would be in the death match.
LOL was getting really big at this time.
Nope, I stabbed him in the face instead.
And we're combining the television title and the cruiserweight title, which became the Cruiserweight X division. Had bought ladder for the match and everything. We had a whole bunch of shit planned. I was taking the most of it. Whole bunch of shit planned. I wrestled Fletch first. Special guest referee was supposed to be, oh yeah, Tommy the main Merriman. And well, he didn't show up. So I kind of blame what I'm about to tell on him. We have a badass match, just like me and Fletch have always had. I wasn't very keen on light bulb shots back then, so I'd hit Fletch with one, I'd try to hide the broken part, so I couldn't get hit with it. And the match wasn't winding down yet. We still had more planned. But he hits me in the back with a fluorescent light tube. I sell the shot. I get up, turn around to fucking see what's coming next. I get a tink right in the fucking eye. I don't really, expect all the blood that was there because I didn't realize it until after the match. But I still have the picture on my phone. I show it to this day because it's the last time Hazard had hair too.
Touche, asshole.
And what most people don't know is, approximately from the time Fletch came over to me and grabbed me to the time we suicide affected, we had a 45-second conversation. Which is, after you develop your wrestling abilities, eventually there's, you don't talk, you can just, tell a story. And the whole time we're fucking talking, he's apologizing. And I say, man, just suicide effect, finish the match. After the match is over, everybody tries to help me up. There's fucking blood pouring out everywhere. And, Fletch shows his respect. We hug. The match is over. I was going to wrestle. Anyways. Our nurse at the time bandaged me up, wrapped gauze around my fucking face. I put on my LO mask. I was ready to rock. I was ready for that cruiserweight match. And then, the match was fucking horrible. Couple good spots, but, by that time, the big people were cynical. Fletch, Hazard, Chris Jones, Genocide, Dylan Bostic wasn't at the level he is today when he's traveling around wrestling for his independent. And, a couple times on WWE TV, Dylan Bostic wasn't at where he's at today. And, you had Grim Reaper. Dark Slayer was never on our level. That match's horrible. I ended up having to go to the hospital, get liquid stitches, and they turned fucking green, so I had a green shit on my face for a couple weeks. Then we leave that spot. Where to next, The mom spot's a downfall. I believe she went to jail or something. Mom's spot fell through, dad's spot fell through. I ended up moving out because what most people don't know is I lived with Fletch for a while, actually. My dad got into drugs, so I decided to eliminate myself from the equation, I had started going to church and stuff back then, youth group. Eliminated myself from a very bad situation and lived with Fletch. We started State Street. Devil gets shot with a gun. Fatal 4-way match, Chris Jones, Fletch, Psycor, Cynical, I think, was the Fatal 4-way. Hazard breaking a chair on Vapor's face. I've also imitated Psycho Circus Clown in the past as well, State Street didn't work out. I believe after State Street we went back to the trailer park, right? Back to the trailer park. We're Cynical. Chris Jones and Cynical, we have nowhere to go. Me and Cynical are low to mid card at this point. So Cynical, what's he do? He decides to bring back Power Tile Battle Royal. And what's Cynical do? He wins that Power Tile Battle Royal. Devil flaming chops me. At this time, not one of the highlights in our career. No longer coming out the TI-24s. The music's evolving. No longer coming out the Lean Back remix. Coming out to Oh, I Think They Like Me. I don't give a damn, personally, if they liked me, but for some stupid fucking reason, in my mind, I'm a face. The whole negativity of my career, I was a fucking face. But at this time, you have other people stepping up. Dylan Bostic stepping up. You have the first ever pay-per-view match where there was a cruiserweight title on the line in a dog collar chain match. This time in my career, I'm still doing nothing. Psycor's got my spotlight. Psychor spits in Hazard's face, the big sign of disrespect, they have the world title thing. After here, I believe we go to Berkeley. Show steps up. What do we have? We have stuff like Ryan Wet Dream Riggs begins wrestling. OGD, Original Gangsta Dog. Things start getting heated, you know, personal life and outside life, you know.
Lots more pussy.
We were getting pussy then. Just not as much as we say we do.
Just not me.
Just not Hazard.
I was.
Yeah. Dylan's had his finger broke by Cheyenne already, you know. I'm dating Alicia Brown while she's dating Lord knows how many other people. But ST1, crowning moment XCW. We are revitalizing XCW. I win ST1. But there's a twist. Fletch has not been seen on XCW TV for a very long time, so Fletch comes back. Ruins my fucking celebration. You can't really say Fletch is a heel, you can't say he's a face right now, because we don't know. We don't know what he was supposed to become. But he was actually supposed to come back as the gimmick nemesis. That was supposed to be Fletch, not Josh Clarkson. So that completely ruined the nemesis gimmick for me altogether. So Fletch ends up, you know, screwing me. Begins, you know, the all screw Chris Jones time in his life. Fletch screws me, wins the world title. We wrestle a few shows there, you know. We had the falling out, we get kicked out. You know. That kind of, you know, concludes what wrestlers do in their free time, our last one being there. We go to
Farewell.
the farewell show. You know, we've bounced around quite a bit. All the while, you know, Justin Parsley's not wrestling at this time. We bounced around quite a bit, and we went to the spot of the farewell show. We decide, one last hurrah, let's go off the bang. We have big matches. We bring back Rob Slater, who hadn't been seen since him and myself got in the fight at the Viewer's Choice Awards, where I won Most Hated Superstar. I'm proud of it. Fletch kicked me in the nose, too, by the way. And then Hazard and Fletch held me back, and Rob Slater slapped me. I don't get the sense of how this all turned out, but it turned out like that. All the while, now I'm not living with Fletch anymore. I move on. People get in life, get their life squared away. Now I'm living with my uncle. You know, he portrays my dad on XCW camera, Stone Cold Tim. EBW's come and gone by then. And we planned this big match. You also have Genocide vs. Rob Slater, another big match. You know, we're going off the big bang because it's our last hurrah. One more, then there is no more. So we planned for months what we're going to do in our match. I'm going to get to some church stories in a minute. Besides that, we go on, we have our big match. I mean, it was epic. Everything was on point, on cue. And Cynical's a heel. Fletch is a face. I'm a face. Fletch does the unthinkable, you know, Kenny Hazard Chaos and the, what was it called?
New breed.
The New Breed, Canadian National Army, whatever.
Yeah.
They had a good entrance song. Okay, they had a good entrance song.
Canadian Army Incorporated.
Dylan Bostic's done left us, you know. What most people don't know, let me insight you a little bit about Dylan Bostic. He actually wasn't supposed to be able to train to wrestle. We're all getting trained to wrestle, you know. Vapor gets kicked to the curb, not tough enough. Cynical drops out, you know. I actually do a couple spots in the show. You know, DTC does a spot or two. Fletch becomes a ref. And Hazard's wrestled a couple times. And Dylan Bostic has heart issues. Not supposed to, they weren't going to train him, but congratulations, Dylan Bostic. You partially made it, my friend, partially. Let me know when you finally get a contract that you don't quit out of, a good contract. But Cynical turns on Hazard, you know, has Fletch pin me. We go out the bang. Everybody comes out, we celebrate, genocide cries.
You okay over there?
I'm telling the truth. It's not my fault.
Did Hogan's music play at that time?
No. I don't know what music played. I believe Fletch's played while we were celebrating. But, you know, Chris Jones stood up on the Fletch, all three shake hands, you know, something that never done at once in XCW history. So we move on, we quit, we're done. No more. So, everybody's taking time off, we're recuperating, we're still hanging out, we're still good friends. This time I moved out, graduated high school, living with a couple of roommates, and there's a knock on my door. And it's a door. It's Fletch and Hazard. Come hang out with us at the parking lot or whatever, because we used to hang out at Doc's BP gas station. Don't forget that I remember you stole fucking candy from my gas station, motherfucker. Not naming any names for future reference, just in case, you know, statute of limitations, though, I guess. They asked me, we were getting a wrestling show back together. It wasn't supposed to be a serious XCW anymore. It was supposed to be like, you know, once a month we're going to wrestle. We're going to come back, we're going to wrestle. No storylines, no nothing. Never shows up. We'll just fucking throw it together. And boy, did it come back more serious than ever. We started wrestling at Gabe's house. And it featured the likes of Jay Banks, diehard Corey Lee sitting over there, Indian style, watching the show. Still love you, Corey Lee. Corey Lee had debuted. He was just audience member back then. But, you know, the debut King of the Mountain. And Hazard. Boy, did our feud start getting more heated. Hazard screwing me over and over.
What, 6 times, 7 times?
7.
I don't know. I fucking can't count past a million. But pretty much, I'm kind of dying off there. You know, me and Cynical are drinking a lot outside the wrestling shows, which wasn't very good for us.
Really?
I mean, it got to the point to where I just dated somebody, you know, so it's another drinking person to buy booze, so I didn't have to. Jill. And, well, me and Cynical we're partying it down when we pass out one day at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Next thing I know, I hear bang, bang, bang. Answer the door, it's Fletch, and it's a wrestling show day. Boy, am I fucking drunk. We go there, we do the wrestling show. He hollers and screams at us. Then I have to go to work. So, Allison Moss and Emily Moore, they take me back home. I puke from the car to my house, then from the house back to the car. I go to work drunk off my ass, and I've never once since then drank before a wrestling show. We move on from there. We go back, I believe, to your mom's house. Correct?
Something like that, yeah.
By this time, you know, we have more people. No, Luther household. So we're at the Luther household. Corey Lee's debuting. Yeah, I said household funny. We got Tommy Merriman finally there. The big Chris Jones, Tommy Merriman feud. You got Corey Lee, you know. Corey Lee bringing some innovative stuff, moonsaulting off the truck. And I'm still a fucking face. What the fuck? You know, me and Zero are no more partners. Me and Fletch are partners. What the fuck is up with that? Fletch is a face, we're partners. I mean, we're Shelbyville Heat, and we're feuding lots of people. And it's to the point to where we're friends with Psycor, another person I feuded. But we bring it to one level. Hazard hits DTC with the car. You know, breaking Fletch's windshield.
That wasn't a very good day.
You know, the MC bomb off the roof through the ironing board. Tommy was not a very good day after that.
That was scary.
And then Mildred Street. Because Kelly's isn't worth talking about, so.
We did a couple more things there. I believe Corey Lee begins to catch. I believe he captures his first title there.
Cruiserweight XCW.
We move on. It's not Mildred Street yet.
It's Greg's.
You forget about Greg Reed's. Then there's the fucking, is the camp household? What was that? No, it was the camps. So we go to the camp's house, and that's fucking terrible. The only thing good about it was the stereo system.
Yeah.
So I have a big falling out, and Chris Jones kind of dies off. I turn, like I said before, a heel does anything and everything to get what they want. What I want, what Corey Lee wants, what Hazard wants, what Genocide wants, heel or face. We all want the world title. If you don't want the world title, you shouldn't be a wrestler. So, we have an #1 contendership match, Fletch vs. Chris Jones, and it leads to him beating me, which, you know, I still say today he cheated in the storyline. I turn on him, I break his ankle, the whole roster comes out, and I beat the holy fuck out of the whole XCW roster, which leads to Brother Jones and the debut of Deacon Gerke. Granted, you know, Deacon Gerke quit, came back, I think he quit, came back again. Leads me to my another world title, beating Steven Reigns in a trunk match. Then I lose the belt. I don't know who the fuck I lost it to. Then we go to Greg Reed's house. Boy, am I fucking pissed that I lost it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently I lost it to Genocide.
I'm sorry.
Then we go to Greg Reed's house. Cynical, making his XCW return from the Army. And who better to face Cynical at SummerMania than myself? I lose. Cynical beats me. He gets to go out with another bang. I'm still sitting there with my thumb up my ass. What the fuck am I going to do? So, there's another match. King of the Mountain. Round 2. First ever King of the Mountain for Chris Jones. I believe Corey Lee walks off with the King of the Mountain Championship then. But you have the epic, you know, the JKO to Vapor in the penalty box. You have the epic picture of me giving Vapor the Walls of Jones with Elizabeth Chaos in the background like this. So, my fault, man. So I move on from there. That house falls through. But another company's starting back up. And I'm all about wrestling. So I'm trying to wrestle, you know, everywhere I can. And, you know, Justin Parsley kind of gave me a spot to wrestle, so, you know, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I began wrestling for XCW and UIW.
Boo.
But there was a time before that when BYW had a one-night stand. Fletch and Cynical both came back and wrestled there.
And Hazard.
And Hazard. Bikini contest. Man, I wish we would have got her top off.
I know, right?
So we move on. UIW, XCW kind of get heated. You know, UIW starts to try to steal some XCW wrestlers. I stay because I love wrestling, and what do I want to do more than be a professional wrestler? But this time, you know, we're not friends with NEW. You know, the majority of them are a bunch of douchebags. So Hazard comes back, I think he does one UIW show, then he leaves. I still wrestle there. Corey Lee and Tommy Merriman come there. Then after there, we go to Mildred Street. You know, there's pretty epic things going on for XCW. UIW's trying to top it. So UIW comes up with the idea, let's have an XCW UIW thing. So what they do out of storyline, everybody turns on Chris Jones and UIW. Except for the few XCW wrestlers that are wrestling. So, you know, you have Justin Parsley, his uncle. Every UIW superstar, you know, they kind of steal the Nexus idea. Then UIW, XCW thing was born. Corey Lee comes, Tommy Merriman comes, Brain Hobbs comes, turns on us. And then Justin Parsley thinks he's going to top XCW. Comes up with the idea, what would top XCW than to have Chris Jones? One of the biggest superstars in XCW history. They're going to turn on XCW and the storylines for UIW. We did that. UIW ends up falling off regardless. A lot of help that did. All the while, you know, Corey Lee's going on becoming a bigger superstar, you know. Other crowning moments, Brain Hobbs winning championships, Fletch winning championships. Then you have, at Mildred Street, you have the debut of Matt Chinchell. You know, the debut of Austin Chaos. The return of Disciple. I forgot one thing. Hazard leaves us for an extended period of time, comes back. Hazard's household. Boy, was Chris Jones hated there. Come out, start being the shut out Fletch, and Hazard makes his big, oh, Hazard's back return. Then another a tag team match is set for later in the show. At this time, Chris Jones thinking, what can I do to put one over on him? Of course I want to win. It would be fucking stupid not to win. So, I pay the ref off in storyline, Carnage, and the locker room comes out to say Fletch and Hazard, me, James Cerebral, and Carnage beat the locker room down. The Untouchables is born. The Untouchables went on for a while. We acquired members such as Nathan Bandiver. We acquired Crisis.
So sorry.
And then I fell off for a while. Corley picked up the Untouchables. Then Untouchables kind of imploded. But the whole time I was gone, all the while, still communicating with Fletch. I'm like, how am I going to come back? How are we going to do it big? So I come up with the idea to have cryptic music and packages played in the background. He made all the video packages, and I had him play my music during the likes of matches that included Carnage, James Cerebral, Fletch, Corley. Fucking with people's heads while I'm gone. And what I do when I come back and take out the two top big superstars, Corley and the Fletch. Interrupt their world title match. That fucking JKO, man. Corley kicking himself in the back of the head. It was pretty good. Then you see the show close, cold day. Chris Jones reigning supreme. What's going to happen? Come back, win the world title from Fletch. Corley is, of course, pissed off. But get stripped. Become general manager. Boy, did I start one big feud with Emily Moore. She fucking hated my guts. It took me forever, though, to get her to fucking come out in the promos. It took me forever to get her to be a bitch. Boy, I tried my damnedest. All the while, I brought back a world title that deserves some recognition. I proclaimed myself the true world champion, which ended up leading to the TLC match against Corey Lee. Title for title, unification. Corey Lee going out on top with the unified titles due to the interference from Fletch. Still undefeated without any interference.
Still lost, does it count?
But what happens now? Where's Chris Jones go from here? Losing the world title again. By this time I was like maybe a 3-time, 4-time world champion, I'm not sure. But we go on. What am I going to do? I'm going to bring back EBW. I'm going to bring back, I'm going to try TakeOver XCW, which leads to something big. The kendo stick match between Fletch and myself. Our feud culminating at SummerMania. Lose the kendo stick match. Take my 10 shots like a champ. Then quit. Take my ball, go on vacation. I didn't go home, I went on vacation. Then I get a call from Gabe. He's like, I got this storyline Fletch told me, man. We're going to bring EBW back again. Fucking awesome. How are we going to do it? And he mentioned the fact that it's a retro show. And Gabe used to be general manager. I always find that loophole. The virus growing bigger and bigger thanks to Hazard. So now all the XCW Galaxy, all the XCW wrestlers, they can thank Hazard. Hazard unleashed a monster. Growing. Striving to be the best. UIW down in the dumps. No more Justin Parsley. Only thing that's left, EBW to take XCW out. So we enlist the help of people. Speaking of EBW, I was playing the video package on my phone. You remember the opening segment for the EBW? Yeah, that's awesome. So, we enlist the help of Austin Chaos, James Cerebral, Brandon Hobbs, and the biggest gopher ever for XCW, Genocide. We needed a beefcake.
Whatever.
Down the road, we did some unspeakable things. We attacked wrestlers. We turned on our own. You know, the big part about EBW is we all wanted the spotlight. Brandon Hobbs gained too much spotlight, and he paid for that. I believe he had a concussion afterwards. We also got people like Mitchell Maverick. You know, we got Austin Chaos saying, I love cocks. I mean, do I like cocks? Yeah. And we bring in a new beefcake, a better beefcake than Genocide. This one can actually move a little bit quicker and doesn't breathe heavy. Ryan Grayson. Still wish his name would have been Nick Hero. Ryan Grayson, the XCW bitch. Now, the EBW bitch.
We're proud of you.
Boy, did he wash our underwear pretty good. But if it wasn't for EBW, Ryan Grayson wouldn't rise to the heights he is. Thanks to EBW, Ryan Grayson was able to, capture a world title. Ryan Grayson became a bigger superstar. And look where he is today. Mid to top card. Main event. In fact, I just wrestled Ryan Grayson last show. Then, EBW comes out to where EBW picks who they're going to face off against XCW at SummerMania. Myself. EBW champion. Going to be the last EBW champion. Then you have Corey Lee, XCW Salvation. We had some pretty interesting things planned that not many people expected. The reaction when EBW won that match was priceless. Now I know everybody remembers the fucking black guy from WrestleMania. Now that look on James Cerebral's face was priceless. Then after we win, Emily Moore came out, restarted the match, and Genocide interfered. Corey Lee ended up on top. EBW no more. Chris Jones gone again. It's kind of like Fletch getting fired 3 times. Gone. What am I going to do now? Sit and play Xbox? Sure, why not? Fletch got the storyline planned. Genocide is a face. Fletch, all the while EBW was going on, turned heel. Again. Fletch wants Genocide to respect him and thank him. Shows appreciation for the Fletch. For XCW. Genocide did it for the Galaxy. So what's Fletch do after Genocide disrespecting him? You can't get rid of a virus. Chris Jones comes back with a vengeance, and boy, I beat the fuck out of Genocide. Those were not closed fists. Wait, they were not open fists. I mean, I was punching the fucking shit out of him.
You've been arguing with referees way too long.
It happens, man. It happens. So come back. The big Jepic. What the fuck is wrong with me? Too many fucking weapon shots. Jesus fucking Christ. Come back. Genocide. Big feud. Chris Jones back on top again. Finding my way to how to insert myself in the picture. The world title's not even taking the main storylines right now. It's the birth of the royalty. Versus Genocide. Genocide always finds himself on the wrong side of the fucking table, just like Greed when we beat the shit out of him. Kurt Acid gone, Genocide back. That was better than mustard on a corn dog, Kurt Acid, yeah. I stole that. Come back. The Graveyard promo. Even though it was very harsh promo, everything was pre-approved by Genocide before I spoke about his dad. The only thing that was not pre-approved that I really thought about, I almost whipped my dick out and pissed. Boy, I wish I would have.
Me too.
Those people showed up at the end, no disrespect to his dad, but those people showed up at the end of the promo and I want to be the top heel. I was going to piss, and those people showed up. So, go back and forth. Genocide gets his chance, to, talk shit about me. So what's he do? I ain't got a ball to drop on the ground. Fails the first promo. So I cut the promo for him on myself. Grab the camera. This is what you need to say, Genocide. Second promo, a little bit better. Fletch was cameraman at the time, and he was holding that ball, getting ready to drop it too as soon as Genocide fucked up. Then, what do? I topped my first promo. After Genocide didn't even top my first promo, I topped my first promo any goddamn way with the Cobbs promo. Went over all over the XCW roster. It doesn't matter who. I will step on anybody in storyline to be on the top. That's what it's all about. Feud ends up ending, Genocide beating me in the cage match. Chris Jones, Genocide done. But the Royalty Genocide's not done. The Royalty, in fact, still feuding Genocide, but right now, you got things going on currently. You know, Austin Chaos was in Royalty. Austin Chaos cashing in on Corey Lee, winning the World Title from Corey Lee Viewers' Choice Awards. Chris Jones won 2 Superstar of the Year. Cynical's won 2 Superstar of the Year. Big things happening. You know, we bring the Honor Award back to honor some of the people that served in the Armed Forces. The Hall of Fame, many people get inducted since myself and Fletch 10 years ago. Hazard, Genocide. Cynical, Dylan Bostic, Zero, Vapor, I think. And then we got Hazard, World Champion now. So I think to myself, what can I do to be World Champion myself? You know, we got the whole screw Chris Jones thing going on again. Corey Lee snapping, going crazy. Ryan Grayson trying to step up and against Fletch. We got a whole bunch of things happening, culminating in one going to be the biggest or most epic SummerMania ever in history. It's got the means to be. You have a very epic match. You got the Mr. SummerMania tournament going on currently. I'm not going to spoil anything, but going to be an epic match between the 2 finalists of Mr. SummerMania tournament. You got the big tag team title match. It's going to be happening at SummerMania. First ever triple threat tag team title match. No?
No.
I could have swore it was. Well, big tag team title match. Then you have something that's very awesome. You got the World Champion Hazard. Kind of, I'm not going to say he's washed up or anything like that by any means, but I don't know the word I'm looking for. He's getting past the twilight of his career. He's won multiple world titles like 9, 10, 12.
You suck.
That's his prime? Is that what you're going for?
9, 10, 12, 20, but Hazard's winding down. I mean, you know, we've all put the strain on our bodies. As Hazard said, we start off on the ground. We didn't have the pleasure Ryan Grayson had where we start off on the mats. The pleasure Corey Lee, Tom Aaron, we start off on the ground. So our bodies are beat up. I mean, I'm still hurting from the fucking match with Corey Lee last year at SummerMania. I mean, my knees, my back.
I'm still hurting from the trampoline with Dylan Bostic.
We have a special thing with Hazard being the world champion. You know, gonna give a little spoiler alert here. Then the person Hazard brought into the company, Chris Jones, you know, we're squaring off. That's not just it. Me getting into the twilight of my career, you know, eventually it will start winding down eventually. So Hazard world champion, me 1 world titles. Then you have a new superstar rising to the occasion, trying to step up and play with the big dogs. A little green when it comes to the match we're having at SummerMania. Actually, he's way green. But we got Hazard versus Chris Jones versus Austin Chaos for the world title in a death match. And I mean, the death match has become Hazard baby. So I know the XCW Galaxy is going to be interested to see what Hazard will do to keep that world title in a death match. But they're also interested to see what Austin Chaos is going to do. Who's to say that me and Hazard don't just turn and beat the fuck out of Austin Chaos at the beginning of the match and then wrestle the match ourselves? Why not take Austin Chaos out? That'd be the fucking smart thing to do. You know? I ain't gotta worry about speed then. Sorry, Hazard.
Just have to trip him?
Huh?
You just have to trip him.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully I plan to go on to be the next world champion. We'll see where it goes from there. But whether we travel the roads, I mean, we got some epic stories. We got sitting in the car, record the video camera. see this fucking band in front of us. LOL's first match was actually not on camera. He wrestled Disciple.
Yeah, he did.
Fucking cunt. LOL wrestled Disciple, and then we all go fucking cruising. And boy, was it a good cruise. We see this fucking hand up on the fucking back window. What the fuck? And I believe Cynical's like, follow man. So we start, these people are having sex in the back of this fucking van. And we are recording this. It's like fucking Titanic all over again. I mean, the epic fucking hand on the fucking window, and then you have the fucking Hazard's Jeep getting stuck at the top of the hill over by the high school, having to get out and push, all the while Fletch is stuffing his face with a chalupa. That chalupa was kick-ass, man, quote unquote. Then you have Lil Pimp. He pissed his pants and ran home. Vapor pissing his pants twice. Then you got the infamous super kicks to Vapor's face at pay-per-views. I kind of miss those, you know. Almost dying thanks to Ratitude.
Yeah.
The fight with Big Nose Joel Brig at Taco Bell. The fact I tried to hook your dad up with my mom every possible chance I get. I told her he could fuck her eyes straight, man. He just doesn't believe me. But I'm not going to take up too much more time because we still have Genocide to induct Fletch. Shut the fuck up, Hazard. I will slap the piss out of you. But I've done many, many amazing things in my career and still at the top of my game. One of the best superstars. And I'm going to leave with a quote for someone that could not make it today, because if he would have made it today, he'd be up here, and not one of myself or Fletch, one of us would not be inducted. We would let him take our spot. But in closing, stay off my toes, let go of my tits. Thank you. Hey, that way? I'm good.
Once more, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Jones. Y'all can probably guess who's coming up next. Going to be another gentleman saying a few words about Fletch. But first, we're going to be going to a commercial. Stay right there. We'll be right back. To the 2015 Hall of Fame Induction ceremony. Next, we have a gentleman I've had quite a few matches with. After I won my first XCW Championship, man, I've had to say, haven't had the best matches with, but we're finally getting there. We're finally tuning it in a little bit, starting to work well together. Up next, to speak a little bit on our next inductee, Fletch, Genocide.
Well, you gotta say that our last match was pretty good. better than the rest of them. I don't know how to go after that because he pretty much talked everything about Fletch. So it's like, what do I say about him? I pretty much what I can do is talk about how
Sorry.
I
pride myself on my wrestling.
you pride yourself on everything. Anyways, I can talk about how I first met Fletch back when we were in 6th grade. I'm going to make fun of myself my second year in 6th grade.
I remember that.
But for some reason, I don't remember how we met. My understanding is it was during lunch, and I think I got kicked from the table I was at, and I sat at the same table he was, and found out we were wrestling fans, and just went on from there. At the time, I was, wrestling with Justin Parsley and everything, and we were doing the BYWE stuff, and I was like, Fletch, why don't you come do this with me? Come into this and see what happens. And then he comes in, and Nick Klaus and DTC, I believe, too. And Justin Parsley's like, all right, we're doing, obviously, WWE storylines and everything. We're going to make them the NWO. I'm like, you're going to make them the NWO? Seriously? Well, at the time, I was Kurt Acid and all that. And,
Team Angle.
yeah, Team Angle. And had fun there with, was it Sunset Park? Sunset Park, we were doing all the stuff, and then we go to Kennedy Park when, obviously, Chris knocked over through DTC through the door, and he hit his head on the sink. And then we go, see, where do we go from there? I think it was James.
Kennedy and the place in Bogstown.
Oh, the place in Bogstown. I don't remember much about that. Then we went to James Miller's after that, I believe. And it's Justin Parsley's is a blur to me because his stuff didn't matter. Because at the time, it's when we were realizing that Justin Parsley didn't want to really do much for the younger people, for the newer people that came in.
You're telling me.
Huh?
You're fucking telling me.
All he wanted to do was
douchebag.
make world champion is me, Rob Slater, and himself. And I wasn't really fond of that. It's like, why are we always winning the world titles? Why can't the newer people win them? And so, obviously, everybody knows the story of how me and Fletch talked, and me and him and Dylan Bostic start XCW. And everybody knows the rest is history on that, but we have our shows in 2003, which was pretty epic at Martin Estates, especially when we had a show when we got told to, we had to calm down because I think you broke the wasn't the drain thing, and she walks away and she turns the music back up after she yells at us. And, we had the match for Halloween Havoc. Me and him started the big feud for the world title because I wanted to be the world champion. And I couldn't be. So I took the spot of Nightmare. And lo and behold, after the match, I took the mask off. And I revealed it was me. Then we had our match the next year at X-Rated. And he gave me a concussion, and I don't remember it. Because he punched me in the head with this class ring.
Did you deserve it?
I think I did, because I did something to him. And match 2 was a wash your mouth out with soap match. I hate soap when it comes to him.
He's so weird.
I use soap and shampoo. Thank you very much.
That's why you smell.
We paid him back.
Yes, we did. And then the whole year of 2004, it was pretty much MPG and VK2, obviously with what Chris has already talked about. And then me getting stuck in the middle between the two. And, what was it, the next year, 2005? I'm getting there.
Is this your career too?
No, it's not my career.
He's explained his entire career.
I've already.
He's not even having anything to talk about because of you.
Not just me. It's because of Chris.
Would you just come over here and sit down?
Will you hush?
No.
She's a nurse. She'll give you a shot or something and you won't wake up.
Okay. I'll stay asleep. But pretty much, I'm going to pretty much get to the valid point of Fletch on this. Of him going into the Hall of Fame. Especially when he got inducted 10 years ago. Fletch and Chris Jones are the pinnacles of this company. They are the two main reasonings of this company. Because they could both talk the talk, walk the walk, and do everything else.
Like you.
And I can do part of that.
Not walk the walk.
But I don't want to pretty much take up most of the time and let him talk, give him what he can get in. So here we go, Fletch.
I didn't think I was ever going to make it up here. No, this is a big deal. I really don't understand it. I've mentioned this before at Viewers' Choice Awards and so on and so forth. There's not really that much special about my career. Let's see what I've done recently. Well, I'm a good commentator. Now let's fast forward 16 years prior. How it all started for me. Here I was coming out with my first submission move, the Sperminator. No, I'm just kidding.
Get it.
Now, it all started, I was little, about my son's age now. He's about 2. Started out, me and this big fat Dustin kid. Well, he was literally Big Fat Dustin Dust. We don't know what his name was. Big Fat Dustin, DTC 0. We decided, man, I love watching TV wrestling, you know, and this is something we could do. And Kyle 0, he loves Shawn Michaels. He come out prancing around, you know. Can you imagine 0? Okay, picture 0 in XCW and all the things that he's done and the gores and all the horrible shit that he's done to people and how hard-hitting he is. And he's out there doing Sweet Jim music. This is for real. This happened. So you got 0. He's out there being Shawn Michaels. And, I don't know. I guess that would make DTC Marty Jannetty.
Did he go through... Wait, I was about to ask if he went through a window. But
No.
we know he did eventually.
But no, it was fun. And that was where I think I learned a lot of my creative ability when it came to XCW later in life. But, I lived in this house, and it had this backyard that was pretty good size, and I had my wrestling buddies, and then I had my real wrestling buddies, the stuffed ones. So, we'd all get together, and we had this little shed that had the little ramp, and that we eventually put DTC through. That's not the first time I've put someone through a table, or through a floor, and it wasn't the last. Just ask Colton Kravitz. But anyway, so I come up with this. This is stupid. This is horrible. It's called BPW, Backyard Porch Wrestling. And that's exactly what we did. We wrestled on porch in the backyard. But I did that, and I played with my action figures that I still play with. Play with my action figures, and I think the more and more I watched wrestling, I took a different approach to watching wrestling than a lot of people did. My approach to wrestling is I learned the show part of it, I think, a little better than, you're not going to hear me up here talking about how I'm the greatest wrestler and how I did this and I'm the best at this and I'm better than Chris and Corey and all, because that's not going to happen, and that's completely not true. However, I do think that when it comes to any of the 70, 80 plus people that's been in XCW, I have probably the most creative mind in XCW. And I think that alone put me in the Hall of Fame. I'm sure that no one would disagree with that. But growing up, I did that. Eventually, I connected with Genocide, and we hit it off pretty well, talking about wrestling and so on and so forth. And
You met me before Genocide.
Hey, he'll get to you.
True. You know, and it's funny because I was never really a part of the beginning stages of Hazard and Genocide and Chris Jones' career. I lived in Loper Commons at the time, which is pretty ironic. Chris over here called me fat girl as I rode by on my tricycle.
You had a tricycle?
Yeah, I did.
And I kicked his brother off his tricycle.
Yeah. But no, I was a big, fat, chubby kid with long hair, which is weird because 2 years before that I was in BPW and I was skinny as a rail, ready to go, doing drop kicks off top of a porch. Hence why I have a bad ankle. But no. Hit it off with Genocide pretty well. 2003, I ended up in the middle of the draft between BYWE and NAW. Somehow, some way though, I guess I didn't. I mean, I knew that there was a draft between Justin Parsley and someone else. Now knowing what I know, I wish I would have went to NAW, but I didn't really have a choice. And Hazard and I never even met formally. So in 2003, I joined as the NWO and BYWE, as Genocide said. And I loved it. It was like a dream come true, you know. Like I did the BPW thing, and I loved wrestling. And I remember all my dad's friends, all the guys that are in New Era Wrestling who claim that they never backyard wrestled. I remember all those guys coming over to my house and wrestling in the front room and wrestling in the front yard and hitting each other with trash cans. Tom Van Zandt body slamming my dad, and my dad's a 300+ pound guy. I remember all of them coming over doing the exact same thing that I've done for the last 16 years, though they don't want to claim. But I remember watching them do that, watching WrestleMania 12 and in a living room packed full of people with chips and drinks and beer and cigarettes, and you know, it was a good old time watching
Pussy?
Holyfield. Yes, not that I could get any, but yes. Holyfield to ear being missing. I remember all these things. When I went to BYWE, I was living that dream that I had always looked up to prior to that. So that's how I got in the wrestling business. But I didn't want the bullshit and the politics. And I'm not going to stand up here and completely bash Justin Parsley because everybody knows how I feel about Justin and everybody knows our history. However, Justin and I have kind of patched things up since. We're on good speaking terms now, actually. And I hope that Justin and I can work at least one time together in the future. And I hope it's more on an XCW terms, considering I was more successful. Ooh, was that a jab? My bad. But I went to BYWE and I met some great guys there, and I had some great guys with me. You know, I met Rob Slater before that. Actually, didn't know it until I went in. But I met guys like The Unknown, Jimmy Olby, which is a cocksucker. I met guys like James Miller, Corruption, Chris Jones. I met a crop of guys that I can really appreciate. There's a few guys that I don't necessarily appreciate. Hence, you know, Jimmy Olby and Milf Hunter and Ratitude. Wow. Parsley really was a shitball. But anyway, BYWE, I'm not going to say that I regret that experience, because had it not been for my experience in BYWE with Justin and Chris and Genocide, XCW would have never been possible. But back to me being a little kid playing with my wrestling figures. One day, here I am, Shawn Michaels off the top, I got Hell in a Cells, I got lights, and this whole room is decorated like a freaking arena, just like the knicker I seen on TV earlier. So, I have this whole room decorated, and I do shows daily. I had shows out the ass. afterburn and jacked, and like I did a show for every day of the week. And there's this little kid, little buck-toothed kid, spit all over the place across the street. You just come over and hang out and peek in my window. What you doing, buddy? Playing wrestling figures. What are you doing? I like wrestling figures. Yeah, okay, cool, come in. So me and this little buck-toothed kid named Dylan Bostick, I'm sure you've heard of him, used to hang out and play with our wrestling figures, even though I was like, 20 years old. No, I'm just kidding, I wasn't that old. But I was way too old to be playing with action figures. But regardless of that, me and him hit it off pretty well, and had New Era Wrestling in common. My uncle was a referee there, and Blade was fucking his mom, so we hit it off pretty well. We started going to shows together and playing with our action figures and so on and so forth. We hit it off pretty well. We still want to fuck his sisters. So we got together one day, and I was just like, man, I'm doing this BYWE thing. Maybe you should come in. I was like, the only bad thing about it is you're going to get a bad rap, because the guy there he's a selfless promoter, and he does everything for himself, and I don't want to put you out like that. I don't want to ruin wrestling for you forever. God, if I would have done that now, what would have been? But he's like, well, why don't you do your own? You're smart enough. You create storylines with, plastic action figures that are 7 inches tall. Why can't you do it with us? You're right. Got with Genocide. I'm like, listen, man. Think that we can do this. Thought I was out of my mind. He's like, why screw up a good thing? We're still wrestling. It's gonna cause some friction between you and Justin. But I'm in. If you want to do it, I'm in. So we rounded up the guys: Dustin Crosby, Bull God, Vapor, Enrique Lowe. God, don't even get me started. So we get together and we create this XPW. God, awful. What an awful, awful name that we thought of there. And this was January or February of 2003. We're like, XPW. Extreme Power Wrestling. What the fuck is that? I was like, you know what? That is the cheesiest, most god-awful name. So let's just rip off a company that failed. Let's do XCW. But let's take it up a notch from what backyard wrestling entertainment is. Let's put some extreme, let's put some new innovative things into our show. Let's even have this little Mexican, Enrique Lowe, come in and be anti-American, which, come to find out, he really was. Let's let Donnie Dark wrestle in his underwear. Let's be different. That was not exactly how it went, but that's kind of how it ended up. But no, we did some cool things. The very first show, right off the bat, we had Buried Alive matches with Eternal Darkness standing on top of this thing, and Nightmare Choke slamming Psycho Circus Clown through tables, Psycho Circus Crown. So we're doing all these cool things. XCW took off pretty quick. We gained the guys from BYWE soon after that. I'm not going to literally go through my entire storyline and my whole life like Chris did. I'm just going to kind of hit and miss on some things. I know I'm not going to get everything in. 2003, pretty successful year. As Genocide said, we were at Martin Estates. And had belts hanging out of air vents and everything else. But no, it was a successful time in XCW. 2003 really kicked off, and it caught some attention. Even at one point, we had Damien Cole coming out to shows, and we really caught some people's attention, and that was really cool. But it also made Justin Parsley go batshit crazy and threaten everybody in school. BYWE shortly thereafter kind of took a poop. But by 2004, I went from an 8-person roster in 2003 starting out, and myself, Genocide, Dylan, Vapor, and so on and so forth, to 2005, or 2004, gaining guys like Hebrew Hammer, Hazard, Milf Hunter, Corruption, even Rerun, not that I want to claim that, and Rubber Band Man, and Cyrus, and Little Pimp, and it just goes on and on and on. All these great guys, and then, as you know, April 16th, XCW really took a turn for the epic. The debuts of Cynical and Chris Jones. And I'm glad that Chris got his chance to come up here and shine and steal a lot of my time, because if it weren't for Chris, XCW would not be here. And as horrible as that sounds, it's true. There's guys that have been innovative, and there's the key people that's made this company go, and he's one of them, along with Hazard, who's put his entire life savings, not that he really had them, into this company. And I appreciate all of the sacrifice that both of those guys have put in. And they joined us in 2004 and made an epic year, and continued to grow from there. With the flaming tables and the ladder matches and so on and so forth, it spiraled out of control. And I mean that. Genocide and I and Dylan, when we sat down, we never thought that XCW would become, I'm not going to say what it is today, because let's be honest, 2015 has kind of been rough. I'll just put it nicely, rough. It's been a rough year as compared to the last couple of years. I will never in my life forget 2012, 13, 14. Those were some of the most epic years of my entire life, and this company was the reason for that. I have a fiance and a son, and I think that I'm blaming that on XCW. No, I'm not going to blame it on XCW. That came of this company. Emily was XCW's #1 fan, as Chris called her, in 2004. She used to come out to all the shows with my sister, and they had fun and they cheered, and
Blue Meanie.
Yeah. They came out and cheered and screamed at Chris to take the can off, and cheered for Cynical and VK2 until she watches that stuff back now and she wants to choke herself. But unfortunately, she doesn't get into that thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Dangly parts.
But no, it's my line, motherfucker. But at this time, 2004, 5, 6, XCW's really picking up. We're doing great things. And it's funny to think that how awesome, and these guys that lived it know, how awesome 2004 and 2005 were. They were epic. They were some of the greatest times of our lives. And he had plenty of personal stories of some stupid shit we've done.
Pepper spray.
Yeah, pepper spray, 2005, Oakster Civic Center. Ice bands getting slammed over Hazard's head. But regardless of all that, 2004 and 5 were some of the greatest times ever. And like I said, all the guys who lived it will agree with that. And to think now that we look back at 2005 and 2006 and all those times that we had those epic fun times, doesn't even compare to what the last few years have been in our show. Like, our show is important and valuable, and I've put my entire life on hold, trying to manage my restaurant in here. I put it all on hold for here. I've put in, doing things that I've always dreamed of doing, like meeting all these top tier superstars like Rikishi and Kevin Nash and all these guys. I've put that off so that I could live XCW, and I don't regret it one single bit. Even though I can't get out of bed every day, and every time I sit down on the toilet and my back goes out, and I think, damn it, why did DTC sit on my back? I wouldn't change it for anything. Although I don't want my son to do it, because I kind of hope his body holds up for him, unlike mine and Hazard's. But no, it's been the greatest experience of my life. I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to come out, and I kind of feel like some people may disagree. Even in this room, they may disagree, but I feel like with XCW, what I've created is something that's memorable for everyone, and something that it's really touched a place for everyone. Obviously, everyone who showed up tonight, there's a special place for the show for them, because judging off the last 2 months when our rosters dropped like flies and XCW's really taken a back seat in all of our lives, it really shows who cares about this show over the last couple days getting ready for SummerMania 11. But I feel like I've made a difference in people's lives by creating this show. Whether it be negative or positive. When people say, they wouldn't be here because of me, okay. I take that, but I'm going to be completely modest. I don't think that I ever had a match that was 5-star in my entire life. And I believe that to be true, even working with guys like Chris and Corey and Hazard and so on and so forth. I don't think I ever had a 5-star match on my end. But I do think that, like I was saying earlier, my creative mind and being able to create, this guy's name on Facebook is Corey Lee. His name is not really Corey Lee, just so everybody knows. He is not really Ryan Grayson. That is really not Kenny Chaos. But guess what? Their Facebook names are even that. And I feel like I'm responsible for creating their alter egos. I created something in everybody's life where they can step away from being Nick Rumey and Andy Miller and Ben Kaufman and Roddy Moore, and although Chris is still just Chris Jones. I think that I created something where they can step out of being who they are and be someone else, to be able to think outside the box and do things that are completely unrealistic. How realistic is it that Ryan Grayson came back after only a month after being thrown off a balcony? How realistic is that really? How realistic is it that I can just go on the streets, beat up random Mexicans, and eat tacos while playing mariachi music in the background? That is not going to happen in a normal person's life, but I got to live things like this. I got to do stupid setups like this where we hang curtains with thumbtacks behind me. I get to do things like this every single day of my life. And how many people get to say that, unless you're LARPing, you don't get to do anything outside of your normal everyday life. I know so many people that just, sorry to use someone like this, but I just seen her recently, Mary Pine. She gets to lay on her back, make kids, and live her everyday life. She's just an average Shelbyville Joe. I get to beat people up every other weekend. That's my life. And it's created so many different opportunities, and I've met so many people. In 2005-2006, we took on the opportunity to train and do things and conjoining against their will with New Era Wrestling. And although there's been a big falling out and their show absolutely sucks, and yes, I'm going to say that, their show absolutely sucks now, and half of your roster feels the same way too. Hi, Damian Cole. Although it sucks, at one point they were the hottest fucking thing going in this town. Not to mention the state and everything else. The New Era's made a name for themselves, and I congratulate them. And I feel like that if it weren't for guys like myself and Chris and Genocide Hazard who went there, they wouldn't be as well off as they are. And in 2005, I don't think they made us what we are. They helped create XCW, and I don't think Corey Lee and Ryan Grayson and guys like this, that Austin Chaos, they wouldn't be as good as they are today had we not went to NEW and they teach us what we know now. And they also taught me how to be more creative and how to better provide a show, coming up with actual logos and stages and all these things, lighting, and all these things that myself and Hazard have went out and bought over the years, and creating stupid gimmicks like Joker as Jokomania. You know, we came up with ideas for everything, and I feel like, though sometimes I feel like, man, we've done it all. How can we top ourselves? Somehow, some way, we pull ourselves together and we create just that. And I wish that I could say that this year was no different. However, this year, not the strongest point in my life, but it's also, I feel like, for a lot of us growing older and doing things, it's taken a backseat to our lives. And that's the first time in 12 years that I think XCW's taken a backseat to our actual life. And though some of it sucks, and I'm sure these guys, every time they heard that a show was getting canceled this year, were like, damn it, that really sucks. I think that in the end we could pull it back together. Myself and Hazard, we sit down and we try to figure out new ways to innovate XCW and keep it fresh and keep people interested. And I feel like we failed at that this year. Not that it was really on us. There's been other issues, whether it be personal, you're in jail, you're child molested, I don't know. Whatever the problem was. Hi, James Scribble. Whatever the problem was, this year was just the first year I think that my smarts couldn't fix it. And that's okay. Saturday, Summer Mania. And hopefully what I'm hoping to get out of it is to re-spark some people's interest. Myself and Hazard have been recently talking about this, about XCW going to once a month. And I think that may rejuvenate some people. It gives time for people to live their life, to work, and, you know, go to nerd conventions like we all do. I've been to 2 Days of the Deads this year. It gives us opportunity to go do things with our life and go to Comic Cons and to see their kids and to do other things, but still keep XCW fresh, relevant, and fun. And I hope that I can strive to keep XCW going for at least one more year. If we could call XCW 2016 a final year, I'm cool. But I don't want it to go down and be, and go the way that things have been going lately. I feel like I've put a lot of my life on the line to create something that, like I said, people can appreciate. But I know that we're supposed to be talking about my career, but I feel like my career is only based off of this company. Because like I said, I don't think I had a 5-star marquee match. Sure, I'm a 6-time world champion and had some killer death matches with Hazard, and I've had some crazy wash your mouth out soap outings with Genocide, and I've stabbed Chris Jones in the face, and I've leapfrogged with Corey Lee. But besides all of that, I'm less proud of my matches and more proud of the fact that I put this product together for other people. And my goal, my legacy, I hope, is built off the fact that I created this environment for everyone to enjoy. I'm sure that listening to Chris talk for an hour and a half wasn't as enjoyable as everybody had hoped. But I actually enjoyed listening to his story because I didn't have to come up here and say it myself. No, I'm just kidding. Because it brought back a lot of memories. It rejuvenated the fact that, this is what I've done my entire life. And, it didn't go unnoticed by someone. He sees the value of what this company's done for him. And the value of what the company's done for him is actually the value of what I've done for him. And that's important to me. I see Dylan Bostic and all the things that he's done. And like Chris said about WWE and OVW, he's OVW champion, he's IWC champion, and he's done all these things, and I know that it's all of his dedication and his hard work. But I feel like if it weren't for me in XCW, he may not be there. He may have a different opinion of that, and that's fine. I get it. and I'm sure he's not allowed to claim that this was his home, but it is. He should, after I let him fuck my sister, but nonetheless, congrats to Dylan and all of his success, and when that fails, please come home. Just saying. But no, I strive on making this company the best it is, and seeing guys like Corey Lee defend it, literally getting in a fist fight with someone who's disagreeing with our show over it, and seeing guys like Chris come up here and say all the things that he said, and guys who still continue to drive 30 and 40 minutes away to come here and listen to two fat guys, or a fat guy up here babble for a half hour, you know. That's important to me, okay? Like,
You saw Jess out there. He's a fat
Been
guy.
3 hours.
And
Yeah.
well, and Roddy was up there. So.
but I feel like I've accomplished that, and that may make me Hall of Fame worthy. I think that the people listening to Corey and Genocide and Chris and everybody come up here and bash Justin Parsley, which I didn't put him up to it, Justin, I promise. To come up here and bash Justin and the way he ran his company just makes me realize that I did something right with mine, and the way that I will take a bullet for this company to make their spots better. And I think that especially with this year, that I've proved that over and over again, that I will, at any cost, whether Ox Cannon wants to be a complete cocksucker, or, you know, it's just some other one-off thing where somebody needs something outside of the show, or, you know, whatever. I think that, you know, or Ryan Grayson deserving a better spot at SummerMania than I can provide him, I think that I've done everything that I could to step up to the plate, take a back seat, sit at the commentary table, and let these guys do what they do best. And apparently that doesn't go unappreciated, because apparently these guys just love to wrestle. And I've provided the best I possibly could for that. If this is the last time I get to make an XCW speech, I just want everybody to know that. Normally, I could stand up here at a podium like VCAs and say, hey, this is what XCW is going to have for you in the future, and I can't say that for once today. That's a bitter pill to swallow for myself, and I'm sure other guys, to not know what the future holds for this company, and when's one day we're just going to say screw it, because Hazard and I haven't had a lot good to say in the last few days about our situation lately. If XCW dies tomorrow, I just hope that my Hall of Fame was built off of what I made this company to be. This is XCW being inducted in the Hall of Fame, not Fletch. And I really believe that from a kid who just played with his action figures. And created this guy to be a star, whether he was actually a star on TV or not, to be able to do that and bring all these guys here to do it and make it possible means the entire world to me. I could come up here and say a bunch of stories about, you know, Tommy fucking a skeleton on a horse.
Let's go back!
I could up here talk about how Brandon Hobbs, every single time he wrestles a match, he's hurt. I could talk about how many people...
Different hair. Remember that?
Yeah, different hair every show. I could talk about all the many crazy things like we've done over the years and like Chris talked about. But I'm not going to waste any more time. These people are hungry and tired and over it, and we have a show to do tomorrow and the next day. So I appreciate this Hall of Fame. I hope that I can continue to provide and make XCW a vital part of everybody's lives, at least hopefully for the next year. Even if we do go to once a month, I hope that it makes it worth everyone's while. And I guess we'll just see how it goes. XCW Countdown, the emergence to Summer Mania is tomorrow. Hopefully all goes well. Summer Mania goes off without a hitch. You listen to my voice both of the shows, and I can tell a story like no one else. I can tell a story just as well as Chris. But thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for everybody who's been in XCW for 12 years that's made it happen. And I have a son who's been stuck in a room for a while. Hopefully he wants to play with some action figures. Let's get this going.
Fletch, just got one thing to say to you. Thank you, really. It's been a hell of a ride for me, even though I've been here only a fraction of the times you've been here. Made great friends, a hell of a lot of good memories, and all I can say is hopefully there are many more to come. So, from me and the rest of XCW, we will see you tomorrow night. Countdown to Summer Mania, emergence. Let's get it on.